Hi everyone, welcome back to AtOnePilates. Today we're going to work a little bit on balance to begin with, so we'll start standing and then take it into some hip work as well, both standing and when we get down onto the mat. So that's both hip mobility and of course some leg strength. So when you're ready, hopefully you've done your warm-up, we'll get straight on with our balance. So taking yourself into a nice tall posture to begin with. Imagining your piece of string pulling you through the crown of the head. Engage core muscles, relax your arms down by the side. You can just pop your hands on your hips if you wish. We're going to do a hip opener to start, which brings weight onto the one leg as you raise the opposite knee to hip height. And then we'll extend that leg out in front, bend, and then open through the hip joint on that side by putting the sole of the foot onto the opposite calf. If you need to stand by a wall, do. If you can do them all without putting the foot down, then obviously that's all the better. But don't take any risks. We'll do a few on one leg and then move on to the other. Keep balancing if you can. Core engaged, that will help. Lovely. A couple more on this leg. Well done. You can then bring that foot to the floor. Again, get your balance on the other leg. Nice and tall, core engaged. And when you're ready, knee to hip height. Extend, bend, open through that hip joint. Try and keep both hips still as such. It's the joint that's working, not the hip itself, or the pelvis that's moving. Whoop. Back, I've lost it. Get it again, and extend, bend, open. Extend, bend, open. Extend, bend, open. Oh, I'm not very good on this side. And extend, bend, open. Lovely. That was my wobbly side. Right. Okay, now we're going to take it into a hip hinge. So I'll turn sideways just so you can see. We'll soften the knees a little and then literally hinge forward from your hips. So you keep your back nice and straight, not rounding the back down. We're keeping the back nice and straight as you stick your bottom out. Okay, in that position, we're just going to side step. So 1, 2, across and then back. Keep the knees bent. Keep that bottom sticking out behind you. Keep the back nice and straight. And just keep going with a few of these. They don't seem like much to begin with, but once you've been doing them a while, you'll start to feel your legs really working. And of course, the side move is getting us using those inner and outer thighs as well. Keep going. Make sure you're still in that bent knee position, haven't come up straight. Lovely, a few more. Nearly there. Excellent, well done. Now, into a roll down. We'll do a basic roll down to start and then we'll use it to come out onto the mat. And I'll adjust my camera. So nice and tall to start. Imagine that piece of string pulling you towards the ceiling. Relax your arms, engage core muscles, drop your chin and slowly roll down. Dangle your arms towards the floor or slide them down your legs if you prefer. And come as low as you can with straight legs. Don't bend the legs to get to the floor. That's not the object. The object is to get those legs straight. And come as low as your natural range of movement will allow. When you're ready, nice deep breath in, and on your out breath, lengthen through the legs, lift the pelvis and slowly restack bone by bone, coming to a nice tall posture again. We'll do one more of those, this time to use it to come out onto the mat. So when you're ready, we'll do a mat in front of you Stand nice and tall, core engaged. Relax your shoulders and drop your chin. Slowly start to roll down. And still get that nice stretch through the back of the legs before this time walking out onto the mat into the all fours position. I'll just adjust my camera so you can see the mat. So once you've done your roll down, we'll walk out and come into that nice all fours setup. So hands directly below shoulders, knees directly below hips, wiggle the pelvis around to find your neutral spine. Nice natural shape of the spine, and imagine the piece of string pulling you across the room this time. Back of the head slightly pushed towards the ceiling so that you get that proper lengthening through the spine, through the neck, into the spine. Push your shoulder blades down your back behind you. With core muscles engaged, so nice and tight through the tummy, you're going to slide opposite arm, opposite leg out as far as you can, lift and lengthen through the limbs. Lower and slide them back underneath. Without any shifting weight through the torso, take the other arm, other leg away, lift and lengthen, lower and slide back in. Keep going with a few of these. Basic opposite arm, opposite leg extension. Everything else stays absolutely still. And try not to overlift the limbs. You don't want the hand or the foot coming up any higher than the shoulder or the hip, because that will change the shape of your spine. A couple more of these if you can. When you've finished those evenly, and back into the all fours setup, and we're just going to work on do some leg work now. So keep your shoulders relaxed, your head in alignment with the rest of the spine, core engaged, slide one leg out straight, and then just lift and lower that leg, keeping the pelvis nice and evenly distributed so that your hips are equidistant from the mat. Just give a few of these and then we'll change it into a bent leg version. All on the same leg to start. Lovely. One more. And then come back to the top, bend your knee, flex your foot, and then we'll float the leg underneath, push the foot to the ceiling. Come under and up, under and up. Again, try not to overarch the back as you push this heel to the ceiling. Couple more of these. Bring that bent knee under, don't put it down, take it out to the side in our doggy style move. Few more. Last two. Lovely. Pop that knee down on the floor. Get that neutral spine back. Make sure everything's where it should be, core engaged. Slide the other leg out straight. And again, lift and lower a straight leg to begin with. Couple more. Excellent. Take it to the top. Bend the knee, flex the foot. Float the knee under. Push the foot to the ceiling. Knee under. Foot up. Keep going with those. Couple more. Then float that knee back under. Don't put it down, take it out to the side. And back under. And again. Couple more. Lovely. Keeping feet together, knees go out to the side, and bring yourself down into a child pose. Let's take that into a side stretch. So lower your body down over one leg, reach your fingertips away as far as you can, and take the set that's nearest the mat and walk them a little bit further. Super. Take the body down over the other leg this time. Again, reach fingertips away, and then the set that's nearest the mat goes a little bit further away if you can, getting a stretch down that side of the body. Super. Come back to the center. Let's just take that into a quick hip flexor stretch. So up on your knees, one leg as far forward as you can manage. Bring the hips towards that front leg so that you're straightening down the back leg, getting a nice stretch through your hip flexor on that back leg. You can even add a little bit of back extension into this if you can manage the balance. Just slowly float your hands up towards the ceiling and arch your back. Go into a back extension as far as you can. Don't have to do that bit if you don't like it. You add a little bit more stretch into that hip flexor and then into the back itself. Lovely. Push down through that front leg, straightening it, flexing the foot, sticking your tailbone out and getting a stretch down the back of that straight leg now. Let's just do the other leg, so bring that knee underneath you. Again, take the other foot as far forward as you can, then bring the hips towards the front leg as the knee comes over the ankle, straightening the back leg as much as you can manage, getting a hip flexor stretch through that, and if you want the extra stretch and the back extension, the arms come floating towards the ceiling and sort of behind you as far as you can manage. Lovely. Float those arms down, push down through that front foot, straightening the front leg, flex the front leg so that you get the stretch down the back of the leg. And if you want a little bit more, just stick that tailbone out. Remember, keep the back straight as you stick the tailbone out so that you get that extra stretch down the back of the leg. Lovely. Pop that knee underneath you and we'll go straight onto our sides. So for the first side move, we are going to have head on your underarm, both knees bent, one on top of the other, with a right angle at the hips, right angle behind the knee. Okay. Rest your head on your underarm, top shoulder relaxed, so the arm down the length of the body. You can pop it on your hip if you prefer to do that as we work through the hip joint. We're going to start by straightening that top leg actually down in line with the body, so it's only the bottom leg that's bent now. And we'll flex the foot on the bottom leg, slightly internally rotating the whole of that leg. So you feel like your foot is then tilting just towards the floor, taking all the rest of the leg with it a little. And when you're ready, lift and lower that leg towards the ceiling and float it back down. So the heel is working, you're pushing out through the heel the whole time, slightly higher than the toes. You get that sense of turning everything slightly towards the floor. Excellent. Let's do a few more of these. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Two more if you can. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Bring it to a hip height, the same position for the foot, and just begin to circle little circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in one direction. Reverse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And bend that top leg over the bottom leg to get a stretch through that thigh. Lovely. Restack that top leg now back on the back bottom leg, so they are nicely stacked, one on top of the other, 90-degree bend at the hip, 90-degree bend behind the knee. And we'll take it into our cycling move. So we'll lift the whole of the top leg off the bottom leg, just to hip height, not too high, and then extend it out in front. Bring that straight leg down in line with the body, bend at the knee, and then sweep the bent leg back across. Extend, straighten it in line with the body, bend at the knee, and sweep it back. Once you've got the motion right, you can float them all together in a full cycling move. Really make sure you get that full range of movement though. You want to take it straight out in front and really get that hip flexor stretch so that you feel your buttocks working quite hard before you bend at the knee and sweep back across. We're really looking to get that full range of movement. Give me one more in this direction, and then we'll reverse the move. So for that, you'll start with the leg out in front, bend it, push it behind, straighten the leg, and sweep it around to the front again. So reverse cycling. Again, get the full range, really go as far behind you as you can. You're keeping your hip relatively still, but the movement is through the hip joint. If you need a break at any point, obviously feel free to take a break. A couple more of these. And then we'll just finish that off. Relax that leg back down in front of the other leg. And we'll take it into a clam before we go on to the other side. So this time, your knees are towards the front of the mat whilst your feet go towards the back. You've still got a bent, sort of 90-degree bend behind the knee, but slightly bigger angle at the hip. Again, you can pop your hand on your hip if you wish. And we'll begin by taking our feet into the air. We'll then open the knees, squeeze the knees together, and then slide your top leg up and behind. So it's going behind the length of the body. Again, you're getting that hip flexor stretch. A lot of hip flexor stretching involved today. Because we're working through the hips, we're really trying to get that movement behind the line of the body with the leg so that we know our hips are working in all the directions that they can. Lovely. Open, squeeze, and up and behind. Open, squeeze, up and behind. Excellent. A few more. Open, squeeze, up and behind. Last one. Open, squeeze, and up and behind. Lovely. Bring that back and relax the legs down. Super. So we're all done on that side. We'll flip the legs to the other end of the mat. And let's do the same on the other side. So again, starting with a 90-degree angle at the hip and the knee. Legs stacked one on top of the other for the setup. Head on your underarm.
Top arm relaxed down the length of the body, or you can pop your hand on your hip if you prefer. Try to keep the shoulder relaxed. And then we'll take that top leg straight in line with the body, so it's going towards the bottom of your mat now. And then flex the foot, rotate internally through the whole of the leg, so your toes start to sort of point slightly towards the floor, and do your lifting and lowering through that top leg. Just lift and lower. You can breathe out as you lift, in as you lower if you wish, or just breathe naturally. A few more of these. A couple more if you can. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lovely. Bring the foot up to about hip height. Keep it flexed. Keep it slightly rotated. And then just begin to circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Take it the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Relax that leg in front of the other leg for a moment, just to ease off through the thigh. And when you're ready, restack the legs back on top of each other in that initial setup position. And this time we take it into cycling. So the whole of the top leg floats off the bottom at about hip height. You take the straight leg out in front of you. Then take that straight leg down in line with the body. When you've got getting that hip flexor stretch through the front of the thigh, bend the knee behind you and sweep the bent leg back to the start. Extend. Take it down in line with the mat. And bend the knee behind, sweeping it back across. A few more of these, and then we'll reverse the direction. A couple more in this direction. Lovely. Okay, finish that one off, and then we'll go with the leg out in front to start. We're reversing it by bending the leg, pushing that leg behind, straightening it, and sweeping the straight leg round in front. Again, in the same plane, you're not lifting the leg any higher than hip height. Knee, the hip, the ankle, and the foot all stay in the same plane, as if you were on a bike, in fact. You know, you wouldn't have your leg going out further to the side than the pedal, so that's what you've got to imagine you've got under your foot. Lovely. And again, a couple more of these if you can. Excellent. And then sweep it round for the last time, relaxing it down in front of your other leg, easing off through the hip a little. So to finish off on this side, we'll go into our clam. Knees slightly lower down than they were for the cycling one. Feet towards the back of the mat, knees towards the front. You can then lift your feet into the air. Open the knees. Squeeze that top knee back down, and then slide your top leg up and behind. Slide it back to start. Open, squeeze, slide up and behind. Down. Open, squeeze, slide up and behind, and down. And again, you should feel your buttock really joining in, especially on that sliding up and behind. You really feel your buttock working as you stretch through the hip flexor. On the close of the clam, it's the inner thigh that you'll feel the most, and that obviously connects to the pelvic floor, so you can feel that engaging a little bit more. Open, squeeze, up and behind, and down. Lovely. Last one. Open, squeeze, slide up and behind, and down. Well done. Relax your legs down. Have a little rest before we go onto our backs for the last few exercises. Excellent. Now, the first of these supine exercises is going to be a hip lift. It's very much like the shoulder bridge that we do regularly, but instead of peeling and curling the bone off, the spine off the mat, we are going to just push our hips to the ceiling to get into that ski slope position. Now, you can add a ball into this exercise if you have one, about that size. It's sort of a small football size. But if you haven't got one of those, which of course you may not, a cushion, folded cushion between your legs could work equally as well. So with your feet approximately hip distance apart, your knees also approximately hip distance apart, with or without the ball or cushion. You can do it without, don't worry. We're going to set ourselves up in our neutral spine position. Okay, so make sure your head is in alignment with the spine, your arms down by your sides, reaching towards your toes so that you pull your shoulder blades down the back behind you. Now, as I say, it's the shoulder bridge destination we're going to, the ski slope destination, but not slowly. It's straight up with the hips, and just push down through your feet, push up with your hips, squeeze on the ball. You feel your buttocks really joining in as well, and lower. So you just lift and squeeze. And as I say, the cushion between the knees will work equally as well, or if you don't have that either, you could just squeeze your thighs together. Just lift and squeeze. Straight up, straight down, no rolling through the spine. So you really start to feel the thighs working quite hard, and the buttocks. All very good for your hips. Obviously, strong muscles around the hips are always going to help with any hip issues. Lovely. Give me a couple more of those. Squeeze. And last one, squeeze. Excellent. You can lose the ball or cushion if you have it. And let's just then take it into a couple of proper shoulder bridges. Really nice to loosen off through the back. So let's take it into a proper full shoulder bridge by tilting the pelvis towards you, peeling and curling bone by bone off the mat this time, still coming up to that nice ski slope position. Take a nice deep breath in, and on your out breath, lower bone by bone down through the spine. Going through the small of the back before you come back into neutral. Another one of those, tilt the pelvis. Lovely. Finish that off, and we'll come back into our neutral spine setup. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of front of the body work now. We're going to do some chest lifts. So for this, we take our fingertips to the side of your head. If you'd rather cup your head in your hands, feel free to do so, but remember not to pull on your head. You're pushing your head back into your hands rather than pulling. Elbows stay out to the side, whichever position you've got your hands in, core engaged, and then when you're ready, you'll lift head, neck and shoulders off the mat, pushing the small of the back into the mat, working down the front of the body, really feeling your core engaged as well as rectus abdominis. Slowly lower yourself back down after you've held it for a while. And on your next out breath, you can go again. Now, if you're happy with just doing this, you can carry on. If you want to add in a little bit more hip work, once you get to the top of your chest lift, just drop one knee as far out to that side as you can without changing your pelvic position. Take the other knee out. You can do one or two or more each move, depending how long you want to hold that chest lift. So it's just something to add in to the chest lift to keep you there that little bit longer, but also to get a little bit of hip mobility in there as well. Once you've done an even number, come back down through the spine and you're ready to go again. So just a few more of these. Come up into your chest lift. Just go straight back down if you wish, or add in a few knee openers. Just letting one knee, then the other, drop out to one side, but don't let it go so far that you change your pelvic position. When you've had enough, lower yourself back down, and you're ready to go again. Just finish off the one you're doing, do one more. Lovely. When you finish your last one, come back onto the mat. Bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a little back stretch. Just roll your back onto the mat. A few circles in one direction, and then a few in the other. Excellent. Again, let's float those feet back to the floor. This time we'll take them into a slightly wider stance. Arms come slightly out to the side as well. Feet go towards the edge of the mat. Arms a little wider, palms facing the ceiling. We're going to float both knees over to one side. The back knee can get as low as you can manage as you float your head in the opposite direction. And the palm that you look towards turns face down. So both shoulder blades need to stay on the floor. And you get that back knee as low as you can manage. And you'll feel, if you do, that you really get the stretch down the side of the body, into the hip, and down into the thigh towards the knee on that back leg. Lovely. You can twist through the body, but keep those shoulder blades on the floor. Super. Lovely. Just one or two more. Make sure you've done it evenly to each side. Lovely. Bring your knees back through to the center. Again, pull them into the chest. This time, we're going to keep our feet together. Put one hand on each knee, and you're going to open out the hip joint by, again, circling those knees, but this time one going in each direction, keeping the feet together. It's like you're drawing a figure of 8 with your knees, taking them into as big a circles as you can manage, all the time keeping those toes together. You can then reverse those circles, go the other way. And again, if you've got issues with your hips, you might find some of these you want to miss out, or you just don't take the circle so big, don't do as many repetitions. Just work within your own range of movement, your own limitations. Absolutely fine, just to do what you feel is right for you. We're going to then grab one knee, pull that into your chest out to the shoulder on the outside as you straighten the other leg down the mat and get that hip flexor stretch through your straight leg. Lovely. Bend that straight leg in, drop the ankle of the leg you have hold of across it. Pop a little bit of pressure on that knee joint again, so you get a nice opening through the hip on that side. Make sure the other hip stays nicely positioned on the mat, so we're not lifting the opposite hip further. And then this leg that's crossed over can go down the mat. The other leg comes into your chest, out to the shoulder on that side. And then bend your straight leg into a bent leg position, drop the ankle you have hold of across it, pop a little pressure on that knee that's in the air. Make sure the other hip stays nice and still. And then take both legs straight down the mat. Arms go straight off the top into a full body stretch, fingertips right through to toes as far as you can manage. Keep reaching out through your fingertips as you flex your feet and push out through your heels, getting that nice calf stretch. And back out through your toes. And then relax into a comfortable position, whatever works for you. And just focus on some slow, deep breaths. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. Breathe in for half the number that you breathe out, so you really expel every last bit of air before you breathe in again. And we'll leave it there, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.